What's up, fellow gamer? Where's Chief Rocky here with another episode of Empyrion Galactic Survival. And today, I'm doing another showcase of one of my blueprints. This one's the Spyder Byte. So I have two versions now. One, I'm just going to leave on the workshop because it's fun to play with, and that is the R-1 Spyder Byte. I've had that forever. It's a design I actually adapted from Space Engineers and brought over here. However, I did it rather unsuccessfully. In Alpha 5, I built this when I was on the Wolf server, and I built it backwards. So it actually, it's facing east, but when you jump in, the core is backwards. So it actually tells you it's facing west, which is wrong. The other thing is that it's too small. It has an exposed cockpit, and it is not armored enough for what I designed it for. This was supposed to be a PvP fighter, okay, a SV to SV fighter. Well, nowadays SVs are significantly larger. This is back in the day when people weren't really building large SVs, right? CVs were CVs and SVs were SVs. Now SVs have a lot of utility to it and can be a lot larger. So this doesn't really fit the role. It's still fun to play with, but if you look at it, it's quite expensive. Okay, it's quite. You need all this stuff. Cobalt, Restrium and Zirconium are going to be very hard to find. Okay, on a starter planet, very hard to find. Even Cobalt, sometime, and Neodymium, very hard to find on a starter planet. Okay, but it is fun to fly. It is fast. It has a very good turning radius. We'll take it out for a real quick spin. But what I did here was I re-adaptated it to the R-1 Spyder Byte. Why R-1? I'm going through and I'm reallocating my entire fleet in Obsidian Syndicate. Now, my fleet does not comprise of just the ships I designed. Everybody in the faction contributes to it. We test it and we decide if it's something we want to keep for the faction. Of course, with their permission, I keep all the blueprints and I archive them to dish out to everybody new to the faction. Okay, and then we kind of understand that PvE you could use whatever you want. I do not kind of like to use other people's designs because I do record, and that causes some issues sometimes with other players not liking me using their stuff. So, and I might forget to give them the appropriate call out for it. So I try to stay away from that, and my faction is pretty good at understanding that. But we do have PvE stuff, and we do have PvP, which is secret. We only share with ourselves. We don't share on the blueprint on the workshop. It's kept in house, and we go to a test server where we spawn it in, share the blueprint, and share the updates. So we do have that. So with the R stands for reconnaissance, and what that delineates is PvE. Okay, PvE, just going around the planet, looking around the planet, taking out POIs. That's it. That's all this thing is designed to do. It's just scout a planet. PvP or PvE. I probably wouldn't take this one to PvP though, because player bases are a lot more damaging. But for PvE, scouting around, reconnaissance, scouting around, taking out POIs, this is more than capable of doing it. So the major changes. All right. So the major changes I did here was, one, I get rid of these very expensive, large jet-like thrusters. Okay, these thrusters, this one right here, the jet thrusters, I got rid of those, and I shrunk the mediums, I think, to regulars over here. I did. So actually, no, mediums, regular mediums. So these are smaller and cheaper. Okay, same thing in here. We went with the regular thrusters and some smalls. Okay, same up here. Yep, regular medium and just small thrusters. I think these ones are enclosed mediums. So again, I used less expensive materials when it came to thrust. Now, if you take a look at this, this is hardened steel here and hardened steel here. Okay. Over here, it's hardened steel here, but you come back here, it's steel. So I knew that I was going to have a thrust issue, so I still wanted to protect the cockpit, however, so the back end of this from here out is all steel. That is to lighten the craft so that it is not over encumbered when flying around. It is quite a bit slower than the LRC-1, but for what I designed it for, it actually works. Now, I buffed up the front here. So it kind of, if you've ever watched any of the World War II videos or documentaries, it actually kind of looks like the Navy's Hellcat. It's got that big front end, bulbous front end, and then for visibility, I put these armored glass panes, if you want to say, in the front, so you could still see from the cockpit. And I enclosed the cockpit around here too. And the reason I did that was I was flying around in one of the stock blueprints you get. I can't remember what it was. It was one of the J. Randall builds that the developers put into there as a regular stock built blueprint. And the cockpit was always getting hit by the drones. So went to test this out, and with this, it drastically reduced it to 75%. Now, I mean, they could still get you here, but if you pilot this thing in a decent manner, you can pretty much avoid getting hit in the cockpit. So, and this is a lot more sturdier too. So the survivability of this craft over this craft when it comes to POIs is drastically better. Even with this one, you want speed on it, but you still have to stop and then aim. Some of the other things I did was I put more headlights up here as well. Pardon the plane. If you guys could hear it, I could hear it. It's highly annoying. So again, I put more spotlights because it's dark, and that one spotlight wasn't getting all your enemies in that cone of fire, so it wasn't giving you the visibility you required. Okay, so that's another change I made. A lot of aesthetics to it I changed. The one thing with this is there is no cargo containers and no survivability outside of just having ammunition. Okay, that's it. You could strap on a couple, but it wasn't really good. So I actually put the new style cargo and ammo containers on here. Okay, and it has here 2 refrigerators and an O2 tank, where this one doesn't. It just doesn't have the space. So over here I adapted it to have that space, but I have a lot more of it since I'm not trying to put all these big thrusters there. It was a lot easier. I got the thrusters enclosed here, and it was a lot easier. And then the same thing here, but you could access that through the P menu. And this thing holds quite a bit. If you come here, 1,000 on this side and 1,000 on this side. Okay, and then again you have the 2 refrigerators. You have your oxygen station, and then you have 2 ammo containers that were tucked inside quite a bit away. And then some of the other things I changed as well are the weaponry. Okay, so homing rockets are a lot more harder to get. Okay, you have to go further down, you have to level up more, and it actually costs quite a bit more. So I got rid of the homing rockets on this one. This is not going to be a dogfighter. And you know what, when you're fighting drones, just trying to sit still and match it, they're shooting at you while you're trying to lock onto them. It's kind of pointless. Just use your miniguns. It's a damn drone. It has 3 miniguns or Gatling guns just like this one does. But instead of having the homing rockets like this one does, it literally just has the regular rockets. It has 4 of them. So this thing is pretty devastating when it comes to taking out POIs. Alright, so let's take it out for a test drive. We'll do the LRC-1 real quick to let you see how it handles, which it handles nicely, by the way. Alright. And boom. Right off the bat, you can see has good acceleration. It has good turning radius. This thing is a beauty when it comes to flying. It is really fun to fly. It has to be one of my favorite SVs to fly. It really has to be. But again, ooh, look at that. Just not enough, huh? Again, it doesn't serve the purpose it was designed to anymore. So, yeah, and there's a lot of other things out there that do POI busting a lot more effectively than this does. I'm gonna keep it on the on the workshop though. If you guys want to mess around with it, and use it as a platform to come off of, by all means, please go ahead. Alright, so now we're going to go and try out the R-1 Mark II. Alrighty, so you can still see through that enclosed glass. It's a little harder, but you can still see it. Alright, let's come up and take off. A little slower, but not that 100% noticeable. It still has a very good turn radius though. So a lot of RCSs, I think 32 of them crammed in this little thing. But again, the acceleration is not as good as the Spyder Byte, but it still has a lot of maneuverability, which is critical when attacking POIs or just massive mobs like the Zirax, right? It is absolutely crucial to be able to dodge those rockets and gunfire. This thing handles a lot better too because it is a bit lighter, but I did increase the amount of thrusters to kind of match the fact that I don't have that jet style thruster. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this down, okay, and I'm going to make sure that I have all the materials. I'm going to load this thing up max so you guys can see that the mass and volume works. I'm going to make sure it's turned on, and then I'm going to show you guys. I'll be right back. Alright, give me worse. So I had an issue with my save. I hadn't started a new one since Alpha 9, so I couldn't get the volume enabled. Once I started this game and I started testing it out, I realized that some things had changed and I had to make some drastic changes to R-1 Spyder Byte. One of the other changes that I made recently right now is another bank of downward thrusters, right? 4 mediums and 2 smalls. And then I had to take some of the extensions out and I combined them all into one. It's significantly smaller, 875, but the weight, I mean, early game, yeah, that's all you're really going to be able to carry anyways. You're not going to be able to really get a lot. You could hold a lot in your person, right? 500 and then 875 in there. So you're not going to be able to get like huge amount of stuff with that, but if you share with 2 people or just get the small stuff and then craft other stuff, then you should be all right. Yeah, but unfortunately, yeah. So with just using right off the bat stuff and keeping this under an unlock level 10 size class 1, I had to use those small thrusters, right? Something you could get early game and still carry quite a bit. I did not want to take away from the ammo though. I need those 2 ammo boxes, one for rockets and one for miniguns, right? Because the rockets weigh quite a bit more than the minigun rounds. So to be able to fight the POI and then take some stuff out, you're going to have that. So anyhow, I digress. So I pulled everything out. I did separate everything though in my person, so we'll load those up in a second. I just wanted to show you. It still flies. And it still flies pretty damn good. However, it is just the fact that, yeah, I had to change a few things. But it's still a decent, very good starting SV. Alright, so let's go ahead and load everything up. Alrighty. Ammo container. We'll go ahead and put this one in there. That's the correct amount. Ammo container. This one's the correct amount. No, it's not. It's the 5. Boom. And you can see it's already, you hear the engines, like, yeah, the thrusters are ready to take it. 4 for the fridge, and then the cargo container could hold 16 combat steel blocks. That's the highest weight, okay? So here we go. You can see it struggles. Give it a little bit of push, and it takes off. So the key here is you got to make sure that you get forward thrust a little bit when you get the bottom thrust, but it does move. Now I don't have forward thrust on anymore, right? It's just the momentum now carrying me, but I keep the bottom thrust on. So once you get up, you get a good amount of speed. You can get to wherever you want. It does take some piloting though, okay? So you can see here, power usage, it's pretty high. Spider's nest. Never heard of that POI. Okay, so it does take some challenging to pilot this thing once you get it loaded up, but that's a lot of the blueprints out there anyways. So, alrighty. Here we go. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unload it, load up some ammo, and we're going to go find a POI, and we're going to take it out. And then that will be the end of the showcase for the R-1 Spyder Byte. Be right back. Alright, Gaming Wars, so I got a Xerox POI right here. I loaded everything up, so I'll let you see. We're just hovering right now, so as you can see, it hovers pretty well. Here you go. So it holds 2 full stacks. I just loaded it up, 2 full stacks in the large ammo one of missiles, which is great. And then it could even hold 2 full stacks, which I just loaded that up, and then some extra of ammo or rockets, right? So very impressive. And then once you empty it out, you could actually throw more stuff in there as well. Same thing with the refrigerator. You know, if you don't get really any food, you could throw stuff in there too. So this thing does hold quite a bit. It's just not one huge massive load. I think if I got rid of 1 ammo container and put another actual cargo container, then it could go up to 1,000 and you could hold that big item stuff. That's really up to you guys. Let me know what you think. Should I change the blueprint and add an extra container and get rid of 1 of the ammo? Would that make it more utilitarian for you guys when it comes to single player creative, or leave it as it is because it's pretty much more of a raiding ship, right? A reconnaissance, so you go in, beat it up, and take what you can. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyways, let's go test this thing out. Let's take on this POI. What? I loaded this thing. Whoa! Alright, got 1. Cool. So if you hit it direct on, those 4 rockets actually do some damage. Got him. Not too far away. I don't know what happened there. Hit something. Got it. Gotcha. Whoa, those are the heavy ones. Alright, lost a wing. Alright, so you can see we took down all the turrets, and this by all means wasn't a level 1 POI at all. It was a level 4, so pretty damn decent for a size class 1 early start. Lost a wing, but yeah, okay, that's really cheap to fix. But as you look around, all the weapons are still there. Alright, that's important. Okay, all the crucial bits are still there. There's really, like, that face shield right there. It did the job. You can see where it hit that instead of it hitting the cockpit, which is what it's going to try to target. The cockpit. The weapons are still intact. You lost a wing. I say that's a pretty good win right there. Okay, so obviously really good craft, really good ship. I recommend it for anybody. Just a great ship. So anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to be releasing this to the Steam Workshop right now. The link for it will be right in the description below. And try it out and have fun. That's all I got. Chief Rocky out.